Okay, so I want to look at Linde. Ticker symbols on the screen, LIN for Linde. Last time we touched on this was June 7th. So I do have some news items, and then we'll look at the technical analysis. So again, last time we looked at this was June 7th. So between then and now, just a couple things that came to mind. So starting at the top of the screen, Linde made a new deal with this China company called Wanwei Chemical Group. Hopefully, I'm saying that correct. That's actually the first two articles. So the first one and then the second here. So just to read the first one, Linde to decaptivate multiple air separation units and expand cooperation with this Chinese company. Announced today that it has signed a series of contracts with that company, expanding the company's cooperation across multiple key sites in China. So they're expanding. I'm not sure what their growth or proportion of revenue was allocated in their Asia division. So that's something we will look into once they release their next quarter earnings, which is the third item on the list, second quarter 2023 earnings. That is scheduled to be released on July 27th. So not too far away, a little over a week, and it looks like it's going to be after hours. So once we see that, then we can kind of see a breakdown by region to see how impactful is this agreement going to be for them in terms of not just revenue, but Asia revenue that's segmented that way. And wrapping up the first and second article. So again, we have entered this multiple agreement with Wanwei. Hopefully I'm saying that correct. If not, let me know in the comments. But again, it says long-term agreements with that company for the supply of industrial gases. So I guess we'll see how that impacts their income statement. So for the supply of industrial gases to its chemical production facilities through the ASUs. So that's how they're linked together there. Then, of course, the third, second quarter earnings, that's going to come out soon. And then this final one, they had another deal, signs a landmark renewable energy agreement in Brazil. Again, I'm kind of getting excited to see what their second quarter earnings look like, especially compared to their first quarter, just to see how these deals are going to impact that revenue. Of course, because they happen so close to reporting, this isn't going to be in the second quarter. So that's when we'll hopefully see it churn, is when we compare second to third quarter. So we'll see where it stands. And then with these agreements, depending on, I guess we'll see how long it takes to actually build up. Because I imagine it's not going to go from 0 to 100 like in a week, but gradually over that quarter. So maybe even the fourth quarter is when we will see the benefits from a deal like this. But we'll just continue to watch it and see how it goes. So again, there was the deal with China and the company there, and now also Brazil. Signed two major agreements in Brazil for the supply of renewable energy. I peeked at the actual article. It sounds like a lot. It's something like 2 billion megawatts of energy per year for like a 2-year deal. That sounds like a lot, but I don't know. So if you know anything more or want to expand on any of these, by all means, let me know in the comments. It'd be very helpful for me and probably for others. So, but that's pretty much the bulk of the news. So at this point, let's pivot to the technical analysis. So here's this uptrend, and it's probably best if we take a look at where it stood before. So we have Linde here in blue, and it looks like we actually made a purchase last time we saw this one. So that's positive. But last time we looked at it was June 7th. So at that point, it was trading for $3.59. We had buy points marked at $3.30 and $3.43 with resistance at $3.80. We also left a note for ourselves saying it's been in this 7-year uptrend since 2016 and to buy the dips. It looks like we bought this one at about 359, uh, which normally I don't do that. So clearly I saw something in this one to buy it at that point. And so let's actually just look at the chart to see why did I feel confident to do that. So again, June 7th. So let's zoom in a little bit. June 7th, that's about here. It says 359. So that's like the bottom of this red column we have here, or candle. And since then, the uptrend has continued. Clearly, that's what the purple lines are. And then the middle purple line, that is roughly midway. When I look at this one, going back, so again, that purple uptrend, we're saying it started right around here, or I guess it accelerated because this is only 2020. We're saying it really started way back here in 2016. From 2016, it had this uptrend channel. Tried to keep those parallel. It's probably not the best, but so long ago it doesn't even matter. And then in 2020, we noticed, yeah, there was this dip down here, but since 2020, it's increased its uptrend. And so for the past, gosh, 2.5 to, yeah, about 2.5 years, or no, 3.5 years, it's been on this channel, this uptrend channel. And I would say more often than not, it happens to be on the upper half. So again, we're breaking that uptrend channel into two segments. We have the upper half and the middle, and the bottom half. It seems like more often than not, it's on the top half, I would say. So, and if it, so we have the top half here. I would say, you know, it is kind of evenly split when I look at it now, but I definitely feel like it's probably more split like 64. It's not as dominant as I thought it would be, the split between being on the upper half of that trend and the lower half. But I do feel like definitely the majority is on the upper half. And so let's zoom in again for June 7th. Yeah, so again, June 7th is right here, just below that purple line. I feel like it was a dip in the time, and so I was willing to pick it up. That's how I believe I saw this at the time, is that there was, what I think, what I kind of, maybe I mentioned this in the video, that if it was at this point, I would buy one share. If it dipped down to the bottom end, then I would add two or maybe three. You know, I'm of that mentality. I can even leave a note for myself just so I can kind of understand that. So 7-year uptrend since 2016, that is still true. Buy dips, that is still true. I'm going to expand upon that, saying willing to buy at mid, how do I phrase it? Mid uptrend, at mid uptrend. Hopefully that makes sense. I mean, it makes sense to me, so I guess that's most important here. Willing to buy at mid uptrend. Okay. So that's good there. I think I also want to add in, this happened since 2016. I guess it doesn't matter the month, but I just want to throw it in there. So March of 2016. Oops. March 2016. Okay. So yeah, just to kind of update this one, let's see. We did pretty decent on our guess of what we thought was going to play out. But June, we have June 9th. So it's gone from about 359 to 382. So pretty good. It's gone up about $20. If I were to buy this one, so while this week my buy point is, I would say 368 and 350. And if I go back, the buy point was 343. Why did I pick 343? So 343 is the bottom of this uptrend, and I also had 330. Okay. So I guess I wrote down 330 because once it got past, it kind of acted as support. Yes, it crossed down below for a couple of months and kind of acted as resistance, but I don't know, 330. I guess we'll leave it in for one more month. If it continues this uptrend, we'll do away with it, but for right now, I'll keep in 330. I'll keep in 343. Or no, I'm sorry, 343. That is now going to be 350. I'm going to jump ahead and say 354. So 343, I'm updating that to 354. And I also want to add in about 373. If it pulled back to 373 or less, that would be ideal. I mean, truly, this week it's like 368. So I'm going to split the difference here because 370, I feel like 373 is not that good. So I'm just going to round up to 370. It's right in the middle, closer to the today's period, because the true number this week, if it pulled back, is like 369, maybe 368, somewhere in that range. But figuring I'm not going to look at this, I am going to hopefully set a reminder here to see if it hits any of these points. But okay, so I guess this week, the figure that I'm looking at is probably 370. I'm going to make 370 bold. So we have three figures, but 370 is going to be our main point of interest where I would add on a share of this. Resistance at 380. Again, if I go back to about June 9th, or at least that week, that is the top of the uptrend, 380, 381, something like that. Forecasting this out to next month, mid next month, we're looking at about 392. This week is more so 388. So I'll just split the difference there, and this is going to get updated to 390 is the top of the range. That's the only resistance point at this point. It's at all-time highs, so all new territory. I'm just going to keep rolling with this trend until it seems to be done. I'm going to remove the color because while I didn't buy this week, at least not yet. And overall, yeah, I'll give it a blue, meaning it's fair value. And I guess in terms of where I think this one's going to go towards the end, I'm going to bring this up a little bit. Somewhere in that range. I could see that happening by third quarter. Okay, so that pretty much wraps this up. So just a quick recap for us. We have Linde here. They're still in that 7-year uptrend, which began back in March of 2016. So I'm looking to buy the dips on this. Right now, I'm willing to buy in the middle of that trend, that purple uptrend. And so currently it's at 382. Our buy points are 370, which is that buy point, which is why it's bold. The bottom of that trend would be 354. Less likely, still possible, but you know, 370 is the point of interest for me. And then 330, there seemed to be some support. So if it were to just come crashing down, I would expect it to kind of stop at 330 if that were to happen. And then resistance at 390, that is just the top of the uptrend. I think it will continue to go beyond that. It's just right now, between now and probably like mid-August, if it's near 390, it's kind of at the top of the range. I'd be willing to wait for it to pull back. Uh, but yeah, that wraps this up. So again, if you want to add anything to kind of the news segment that I went into, if you felt like I missed something, or if you want to add insight to anything, feel free to do that. Or if you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. Otherwise, please like, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.